Hello, Madalene. Happy birthday. Uh, I'm calling you from beyond the border. Um, it's a rainy day in North Carolina right now, and I tried making this video yesterday but had some technical issues, so I'm going to try to power through it again today. Yesterday it took maybe about 30 minutes for me to do all of the drawing and stuff, so I'm going to actually do it in small chunks and then try to put all the pieces of the video together and put it up on YouTube so you can find it. I'll send a link and um, basically I just wanted to do something different for your birthday instead of giving you something. I think we got you art supplies last year or the year before. Um, I talked to your dad and he said that you were talking about how you really like drawing, and he mentioned I really like drawing, and you want to draw with me. So I thought, well, I have ways of recording, and I have a YouTube channel. I don't put much on there, but I figured I could show how I draw. Um, it's going to be a little differently because you are drawing on paper, and that's how I learned. But right now I've been drawing on my laptop screen is a touch screen, and I have this fancy little special pen that comes with it. So I can draw on the screen and record it, and so you'll see what I see on the screen. I'll be able to zoom in. Um, it's it'll be a lot of the same stuff you're doing with pencil. I'll just be I'll try to be mindful that you're using paper, and I'll try to relate the things I'm doing to how you are drawing with paper. Um, so, well, that's about it. I asked Bella what you would like to learn to draw, and she said a unicorn. So I have never drawn a unicorn, not a full body of a unicorn before. Horses are hard. I don't think I've ever done any like horses, unicorns, large animals, elephants, anything like that before, because they're hard. They just are. So I had to learn a little bit about them too. It was good though. I learned some basic shapes and how their legs kind of bend, and it's all funny. But we'll go through it. And well, that's enough of an introduction. Happy birthday. Let's get started. Okay, so I started out looking for drawings of horses because we can always throw a horn on after and make it a unicorn. Um, so just looking for the shapes. Like on this one here is a pretty good example because you can see there's like a circle shape like coming around the shoulders into the part of the chest here. There's a circle there. There's one over here too. You can start to see how that happens. This is like a triangle that kind of swooped over and then just stopped. You can see a circle here in the jaw, one on the end here. You can see kind of triangles in the legs here and there. And the rest is just detail. So if we can get some basic just shapes to build this up, we can then connect them with some smoother lines and try to fill in the details as we go along. Okay, so I'm going to just run through some of the basic shapes. I think it's always helpful to think of things three-dimensionally, meaning like we're not just thinking about the outlines and that's it. There are curves around, like going from what we see and wrapping around the body so it comes out to us and goes back further behind. So if you were drawing something like a face, you would have the outline of the head, and then also you'd have to think of where the eyes are going to go, and nose and all that. But it makes it difficult if you're just looking at it as being just
like a flat thing. So instead, try to think of it like more of a balloon that has some depth to it. Like that would be our outline, and around here and here we could put our eyes, on that line there, and then the ears would be kind of on that same line that we lightly drew there. The nose would be right in between there, and maybe a mouth. So in that way, you're kind of helping kind of wrap things around the balloon instead of just looking at it flat. If you draw something thinking about it as just being flat, your drawing is going to just look flat. And this, for what we're going to do today, like the drawing is going to be flat, but it just helps to think of things within a space, a 3D space, because then you can kind of wrap things around and give it a little more depth here. And the hair should always come up over the head. So this eye back here will be smaller than this eye up here. I'll give him glasses now. And the mouth will kind of wrap around the balloon. So it's otherwise you're just kind of drawing like this, and it looks like it doesn't look bad. It's a nice little cartoon face, but it seems very flat, like things aren't wrapping around the balloon. Which let me just undo that. When you get into like drawing shadows around things, like if there's a light source coming from up here down on our subject, there's going to be some shadow around here, and especially down here darker, because you got light is always coming in from above, and like a direct light source would be very strong in this direction, so there would be a lot of like shininess and highlights coming from this spot here, but then a lot of shadow down here. That's basically it for that. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about shadows, but just wanted to give you an example of. I wonder if you could hear the bugs in the recording. I'll have to check about this. I'm outside. It's 90 degrees. It's cloudy, but it is hot. But it's also the quietest space we have when Nico's awake, because he is in there yelling and he didn't have a nap, and it's getting crazy in there. All right. So our unicorn, we're looking at shapes. The shapes of the unicorn. We have the chest, a circle for the hips. There's some kind of curves coming to it. I'm going to bring this in a little more. Don't be afraid to I'm using some heavy lines so you can see it. Don't be afraid to use a pencil and draw lightly at first, to just kind of find the shape you're looking for, and get those shapes in. So we're just trying to find out like where things are. There's a lot of rectangles. There's joints for the circles for the joints, stuff like this. And we looked at our how to draw a horse thing early on, and this is kind of how I saw it. Like just where are the circles? And I know it looks messy. It's very messy right now. But think of it in that way. There's another joint down here. And this joint is going to be a little lower than this back one. This one should be a little higher than this one here. This is like the shoulder up top here. This would be kind of the elbow here, the kneecap here. This the back leg is really muscular. So just think of it in terms of like we got our triangles here for the upper legs. You have kind of a triangle here that's curving a little bit. Even the body, if we wanted to continue on with this, would be like a big curved triangle. I'm going to undo that. The top of the end of the snout here is a circle. The jaw, if you look at the jaw, it starts a circle that comes up to the head, and then there's a little bit of a almost like an egg shape to the that comes off of it too. So it's those kind of shapes, and if you think about, where does the horse move at this point? Well, there's movement here, there's movement here, there's movement, over here in the shoulder, in the hip, on the knees, elbow. That would be kind of like a wrist. I don't know the anatomy of a horse, so I'm just comparing it to humans. This would be kind of like the ankle, where the ankle would be, and then of course the tail. Um, so just think of it in shapes like that. This is not the drawing we're going to start with. I'm going to go ahead and just clear that real quickly. Um, so like knowing where all those things move, let me zoom out. Like I'm using a square piece of quote unquote paper, but just kind of wondering how I should do this. I think I'm going to, you might want to use like 2 pieces of paper. Because I'm going to do like just the base shapes, and then we can go over it and add the detail on top of it. So you'll be kind of tracing over the shapes and connecting them. I think that would be the easiest way, because otherwise there'll be just a lot of erasing, and I do a lot of erasing in general because I'm not very good. So we'll call this our starting point. So we're going to have our unicorn standing on end, and be aware of the size of what you're going to draw and the space around it. Like you want to leave some white space around where you're not drawing, just to make sure everything stays within the middle. You don't want to, start over here and then all of a sudden your horse's or unicorn's legs are going off the edge of the page. So make sure you start in the middle and start at a reasonable size to give you some space, to kind of work around. I think mosquitoes are coming after me out here. So that's going to be our body. We're going to connect here and here. And we're going to throw in some of our triangle shapes here. It's one leg. This will be kind of like the front leg there. Now we're going to do something. I wanted to see the unicorn kind of in action, doing something, not just standing there, which is fine. I'm sure unicorns do just stand there from time to time, take a break from doing whatever unicorns do. But I'm going to have him up on his back legs, just kind of drawing some little rectangles here for legs. And this is just to give us an idea of where our shape is going to be for this unicorn. And then we'll kind of go in afterwards and draw in. We'll put I'll use the term like a piece of paper on top. So and then we'll kind of draw like more carefully around it, just lightly, and kind of give it a little more detail. Like this will be the back leg, or back front, I should say. Front leg that's furthest away from us. And always kind of compare, like these 2 legs are kind of on the same level. Um, so like this first section here is about the same height and both the leg closest to us and the one in the background. These are kind of the same length, and the knees are kind of in the same spot. It makes it look kind of stable. I'm going to remove those lines I just put on there. Um, Try to do the same thing here. It's different because they're not lined up like they are back here. They're kind of curving away. So that length looks pretty much the same there. This one probably needs to come out a little longer to match up with that one. And let's see. One thing I noticed about some of these is that there's like a V here, almost like how our collarbones are way up high on our torso by our shoulders and just above our chest, connecting right to the middle of the neck. The unicorns or horses' necks kind of come down to a point right here in the middle. Oops, I just erased by accident. Ooh, I think it just says thunder. Again, this is like a big kind of triangle, curving triangle. Not a lot of straight lines in nature. And you always want to. So I found like drawing the entire shape a little bit out of time and kind of building it all together at first, getting the structure down is better in the long run. I used to take my time working on the detail in one spot, and some people could probably do that and it works out fine. But for me, um, I would end up like drawing a person. I'd spend so much time drawing a hand, and then I would um, move up the arm and like put all this time and effort into the detail of one hand. And then by the time I got up to the shoulder and neck, the like the length of the arm didn't look right. The hand looked too small. Like things were just wrong, and it's painful to have to erase all that detail I put into it. So it's better to just kind of get the shapes, get an idea of where things are at first before you add in all the detail. Because it makes it easier to delete stuff at this point. So let's kind of add in the curves here. One thing I noticed on the horses, like right about here on the jawline, is about where the ears come up. So we'll just kind of throw in some lines here for the ears, and the horn will be somewhere right in between. Now right around this circle here, we're going to kind of put our line there. That's where his eyes are going to be. And right on this circle here, we're going to put our nostrils. And the mouth is going to be in there. Okay, so take a step back, look at it, see where things are, how it's looking. If it doesn't look right, like the proportions, the lengths of some things don't look right, now would be the time to fix it so we don't go too far along, like I always used to do, and have to go back and erase like tons of work that you put in. Like I was looking at this leg, this bottom part didn't seem as long as the one in the background there. So that's pretty good. And they have this like little thing here that's more of like the heel kind of raised up. It's like they're walking on their tippy toes. And the tail, of course, will come flowing down here. That is a tail. Okay. All right. So that's kind of the basic shape. I'm going to, in this program, they just call it like adding a layer. So I just basically pulled up a new piece of paper that I'm going to draw on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this back so it looks like I'm tracing through paper. If you have a hard time seeing through the paper, you're using pencil, you can draw sideways with that. If it was pen, it's harder to draw sideways because the ink kind of runs down the pen. And always use pencil. Like even if you're doing pen work, it's better to kind of draw things out in pencil very lightly first and then go over it with pen. So like now we're drawing on our piece of paper where our finished piece is going to be. So you can like take your drawing if you're having a hard time seeing through it, put it on a window, and then I mean you could even like tape that piece onto the window. Use some Scotch tape that's easy to peel off. If your dad gets mad, tell him I said to do it. And then like you could take another piece of paper and put it right on top and tape that one onto it so it doesn't move around. Because if it moves around, it's going to mess everything up. So that would be a good way to be able to see through it. Now we are going to kind of connect some of these shapes and draw the lines maybe a little smoother. And don't be afraid to, oh, I guess if it's taped onto a window, you can't turn things too well. You'd have to turn your one shape first, or one sheet first. So just kind of lightly come around. You got some leg curve here. And then zoom out, see how that looks. Okay, not bad. We can always come back and erase some of it or adjust a line here or there. I think I'm going to bring this kind of back more like that and erase this back piece. Yeah, that's pretty good. Nice smooth lines. So we started out with all these blocky shapes. We want to just kind of connect them in the smoothest way possible. And I'm starting with this leg that's closer to us. It's the foreground. The one behind it would be the background. When drawing, I think it's better to draw the stuff that's up close in front of you first. So you're not drawing in the back and then having, when you draw over it, having to erase lines here and there. So I'll do this leg and I'll start working on this other leg here. I guess that's another point of seeing things as three-dimensional. So you can kind of get the stuff that's closest to you first. All right, now I'm going to come down a little bit around the elbow there, and then, oh, I don't like that. I made that curve a little too late. And a lot of this comes from practice of drawing the unicorn over and over again, because I had so many issues with my video editing and my screen capturing while I was drawing this the first 5 times. It was not great. Okay, so I know like they have this little kind of part of the hoof up here, both on the back and on the front. I can't really switch to show you now because that's kind of my bad screen capturing software. All right. Now let's kind of start over here on the chest, come down and around the body right here. And that seems like it kind of connects across. Come out. Yeah, I think that neck is going to be end up being a little wider than what I drew originally. I mean, it looks like to connect it smoothly, I'd have to come up here. I think that would be better. But then also there's the that roundness of the shoulder right up here. So I might just go ahead and leave that line and erase that little bit in there where I drew over it, which is fine. Okay. And erase this line over here. I'm going to redraw that a little more smoothly. Okay. Yeah, I tried doing it a different way where I had my shapes drawn and then I drew the smooth lines right on it, and then I had to go back and erase all those line shapes I made underneath, and it just took forever. So it's better to just start with a clean sheet on top. Okay, let's get this front leg that is in the background a little bit, and it'll be similar in shape. It's just kind of rotated up a little higher. And remember, connecting those background shapes with the smooth lines. Right there. Oh no, I forgot the thing on the back here. Well, I don't like the way that curved out so much anyway. So I gotta fix that. Let me erase that real quick. Just kind of put that right there and out. That's not too bad. That looks pretty good so far. That line is kind of thin right there. Yeah, it's always best to start off with light lines when you're drawing with pencil on paper, because if you make a mistake on a heavy line, you can erase it all you want. You're still going to see it a little bit. So I always, when I would draw on paper, draw with very light lines. It was actually in one drawing class I had, it was something the teacher pointed out. Like he said I needed to darken my shadows more. It's like I was scared to make too much of a commitment to something. So I never made things dark enough where they needed to be dark. Okay, oof, these mosquitoes are coming out. Let's wrap this up. And I turn it a lot because I'm right-handed and it's easier for me to draw like a smooth curve like this because I'm just kind of keeping my elbow down and moving my arm across. So I feel pretty stable that way. It's harder for me to do like a curve like that. Actually, that one wasn't even that bad. Or something where I'm like reaching away and I have to lift my elbow up. So I try to keep my elbow kind of planted. If you're drawing on paper, then it's maybe smaller lines and keeping your wrist planted down. That's not too bad. That line looks like it's a little wonky. There you go. That's smoother. All right. Let's come up here. Now we know that this is kind of like the upper arm, and this is the elbow here. That would make this part over here kind of the chest. That's the collarbone kind of area I was talking about. Make that come out a little bit more. Just give it like a little poofier kind of, whoa, erase too much. My little eraser. Just give it a little poofier, more muscular look there, so it's not so round. Let me get back in there. It's almost kind of heart-shaped, like part of a heart in there. I'm gonna clean up some of this line in here a little bit with my eraser. It's nice being out here drawing. I don't get to do this too often. Now, this is an example where I probably should have drawn the head first, gone with that jawline. Let's see. Rotating the heck out of this. Because now I have to go in and erase that line. And zoom out and see how that looks. That's pretty good. Looks pretty silly so far. I mean, the original drawing underneath. All right. I'm gonna open his mouth a little bit. All right, just kind of fix that, make that come out a little more. I don't like them smiling so much. I want them to look scary and. Alright, so we said our nostril is going to be around here somewhere. There's nostril here. Get a little bit of a kind of bump over that. Get a little line in between. And then we'll come up the nose, a little bit around this there. The head and connect. I don't like that line. Sorry, I'm going to draw that one over. Okay, that's a little better. Yeah, they do have a little bit of roundness over there, like the top of their head here, the snout. Let's see, now we kind of decided here would be a good place for an eye. Gonna put some top of the eyelid around here, just some little lines to show that it sticks out a little bit. And the other eye is going to be kind of right on that same line we drew. But I'm going to put a little bit of eyelid there. And let's see if we can go in and kind of clean that up a little bit. Just a little bit. Now having this shape here would help with the shadowing, because that does stick out a little bit. If we wanted to go into that kind of detail, we could later. Okay, so we have our shape. I'm going to erase where I connected over here. Let's get those ears in. I had a tough time with the ears last time. Just kind of throwing it off to the side here. I don't really know how they look. That looks too much like a donkey. Alright. Yeah, that looked a little too long last time. Now let's erase those lines right in there. Now if we erase the line that we just drew for the ear, we could just go back in and kind of darken them up a little bit, so that's fine. We're just kind of connecting it to the head. And then the other ear on the other side. Oh, that one came out heavier. I don't like that. I was pushing too hard on it. Erase, erase, erase. Well, that's a little better. Now the horn is going to be right smack dab in the middle here. No, I think I said earlier that it's very rare that you see a straight line in nature. It's hard to do straight lines. I think that'll be good enough though. Let me erase that little edge there and right in here. That is a wimpy horn. Oh my goodness. That doesn't even look right. I think this ear needs to kind of come down a little bit more here. And again, we're going to draw some mane, big shaggy mane in here. And this is where it helps to kind of back away and see how wimpy that horn is compared to the rest of this like massive body. Wow, that thing is bad. That thing needs to come like up to here. All right, let's erase this unicorn. Nico's watching me through the window now. Oh no, what was that? I don't want that. Where's my brush? There we go. Okay, let's draw that all the way up here. That is not a straight line, but that's a horn. Okay, let's draw out where there, and let's kind of get that there. Yes. Okay, Nico's asking me to go to the pool, so we're gonna wrap this up. Hold on, buddy. We're gonna go soon. I'm gonna finish recording this video for Madalene. All right. Let's draw the tail first. Big flowing tail. There. That's a nice sized tail. All right. Let's get the big flowing mane in here. And there's like no hard and fast rules to this. Just kind of keep it loose, smooth. I mean, hair kind of flows around everywhere. We'll go back in and kind of clean up some of the stray lines. Here, here, here. That's a lot better. Okay. Now we'll go in and kind of erase some of the stuff we don't want. Right here. So that way it looks like the hair is kind of wrapping around the horn. That's the outline of the head. So we'll erase that all the way down here. Get rid of this line. All right. All right, let's back up and see how that looks. You know what? Let's make this come down a little more. Add some more hair. We'll go in and delete some of this. Not delete, erase. We're erasing because you're using paper. Again, like nothing too crazy, just kind of whatever you want to do with hair. And there we go. That's our unicorn. Now we can, let's see, let me get rid of that one that we used to trace over. Bam! That's a unicorn. Now we can go in, like adding a little bit of a line right up, right up in here. Yeah, that works. And don't forget to add in your hoofs.
Hi, Nico.
Hooves.
I closed on the door, Nico. Nico, can you help?
And that's it. Nico, go inside, please. Just kissed my sweaty arm.
Oh,
all right. Well,
right.
that's it. Nico, what is that? Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's a horse.
It's a horse, but it has a horn. It's a unicorn.
Oh.
Okay. Can you say hi to Madalene? Say hi.
Hi.
All right. So that's how to draw a unicorn. You start off with some pretty basic shapes, and then just kind of make them smooth, bring them all together, and
What's this?
Nico, I need you quiet, please. And that's about it. Well, again, happy birthday, and I hope this helps. If you want something a little more cartoonish, let me know, because that's something I'd be better at, I think. All right. Bye. Have a good one.